short kick near sideline, handled by Anthony Amaro.
He's got a lane.
5'8" senior, going to look for space on the far side, and it's a good one. Two-step drop, throw, far side. Albert hit immediately.
Great cover.
Hedrick on the tackle, second down and 9, and a high snap. Ball loose, and Londonderry may have just come up with the turnover. Astros come out of the timeout, keep the drive going. Now first and 5 hit, big hit. Coming up on 4 minutes, first and 10. Heenan has time, gonna throw. He's got a man far side, on the catch. It's Sheena, touchdown Londonderry. All right, Hersom takes the under center snap, gonna throw, far side, looking. Got
what
a
great pass of where to run the ball.
Pistol snap, handoff, left side, and what a cut, touchdown. Senior's got plenty of time here, gonna air it out. Deep down the near sideline, Coleman is open, touchdown Londonderry.
Unbelievable.
Takes it.
Londonderry. Another impressive performance on their home field. They have now beaten Pinkerton 6 straight. This one's going to end up as a final of 31-6. Well, there it is. That was back on Friday night in our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week presented by Beals Insurance. Londonderry remaining unbeaten against in-state competition, downing their rival Pinkerton for a 6th straight time by a final score of 31-6. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. This is FNL Gridiron, heard every Thursday, 6 o'clock live here, 6 o'clock Eastern on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Big show as we get geared up for another week, approaching mid-season, I suppose, at this point in the NHIAA schedule. Week number 5 on the horizon. We kick off the show in about 15 minutes with Tom King, longtime senior editor over at the Nashua Telegraph, also a broadcaster with ETV. He's got his finger on the pulse of the Nashua area schools. We'll check in with Tom and just kind of throw it out from there and see where it goes at 6:15. 6:30, we welcome in the first of 4 head coaches to help preview our doubleheader this weekend. Kevin Fitzgerald of Timberlane and Bill Ball of Exeter, 6:30, 6:45, respectively. The Owls head coach going to sneak away from a Hall of Fame induction ceremony to speak with us at the bottom of the hour. 6:45, longtime Exeter head coach / athletic director Bill Ball. Hour number 2, we preview our first Division II broadcast of the season. We'll be up in Plymouth in the North Country on Saturday afternoon, a 2 o'clock Eastern time kick between Souhegan and Plymouth. Robin Boquet, the Souhegan head coach, joins us at 7 o'clock. Chris Sanborn, his counterpart from Plymouth, at 7:15. So Tom King of the Telegraph at 6:15. Kevin Fitzgerald of Timberlane at 6:30. Bill Ball of Exeter at 6:45. Robin Boquet, head coach at Souhegan, at 7. Chris Sanborn brings up the rear, the Plymouth head coach, at 7:15. Steve, we're going to see what all 4 new teams for us. Heard a lot about, of course, we're familiar with all 4 of those programs. Both would be considered contenders in D1 and D2. I know you're excited about the show. It's always a pleasure to speak with Tom King. So
always.
I think five pretty rock-solid guests, if not all-stars, on the way here on FNL Gridiron.
Yeah, boy, did we see a game last week. Londonderry Pinkerton. I predicted it would be a breakout game, but I didn't think it would be, quite to that degree. Londonderry just came out strong, all 3 phases of the game, tight as can be. Pinkerton had trouble starting on offense. They got into some challenges, gave the ball away, and Londonderry, you just can't make mistakes on. You got to have all cylinders going. You got to have your A game on all 3 phases of the game working if you're even going to stay in the game with them. They have proven to me this year what a strong program they are. They're starting to build a program that's just going to continue. It has almost a feeding, almost a suction of talent that's going to continue to come in. Everybody wants to be a football player, and he can really demand. He's deep, so he can create a lot of competition in that situation. I thought they looked fantastic. I want to also emphasize before we move on from that game, Nick, I thought Pinkerton's got a pretty strong defense. If you take away the touchdowns that were right in their own end, watch out, folks, for Pinkerton. Don't take that score too lightly because if they can get their offense rolling, and that is clearly the trouble. Their special teams need work too, but I thought that their offense just wasn't in sync in that game. If they can get that going, they're going to cause havoc, and I'm sure, or I'll bet you, they'll be in the dance here in one of those positions at the end of the year.
Yeah.
As far as other stuff that's going on, there's two other teams, Nick, that are really beginning to build a strong presence in I would say, not only the contender, beginning to work themselves on the upper tier, and we got one of those games this week. That's Timberlane, and the other one is Bedford. I know it was Goffstown. I know Goffstown's struggling. They're young, and that program will continue. Will come right back. They're just building a young team, a young program. They'll get it together. But Bedford's defense, I was able to watch a couple games, spend a little time there. They have a championship-style defense, and if the quarterback Danny Black can get things together there, and not that he's not, but I'm just saying continue to grow in that position and get some experience behind his belt. Watch Bedford in these ensuing weeks. North, again, just continuing to show how strong they are. We have got a cohort of 10 or 12 teams that are going to make the playoffs that the majority of them have an opportunity to really be a contender down to the last 4 or 5 teams. So this is going to be a lot of fun moving forward.
We said it, I think, over the summer, and it's held up so far a month in, that there's more parity this season in Division I. I think when we take a look in a moment at the top 10 poll and the records, et cetera, that it bears that out, that case is being made. First time in a long time, perhaps, that we'll see a really competitive postseason. We get the extra round, obviously, this year, and not to say the playoffs of years past haven't been competitive, but I think this is wide open here as we hit the midway point. Let's take a look at that Union Leader Power Poll, the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll. Of course, we're represented in that poll here at Friday Night Lights New Hampshire, and atop the poll, garnering all 7 first-place votes yet again, is Londonderry, the defending champions, unbeaten against in-state competition following the aforementioned 31-6 win over Pinkerton. They are 3-1 overall. The lone loss, of course, out-of-state week 2 against Bishop Hendricken on the road in Rhode Island. By the way, if you want to check out that game, over 3,200 views and counting, look it up on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Just check out the videos section. Londonderry Pinkerton is right at the top. Exeter, still unbeaten, still number 2 in the poll, despite a scare against their longtime rival, Winnicott. That game was played at Hampton Beach. That game was scoreless through 3 quarters. Exeter got a late field goal to take a 3-0 lead, and then the Blue Hawk defense comes up with a fumble recovery inside the 5-yard line to seal the deal in the closing seconds. 3-0 the final score. Exeter moves to 3-0 in-state and 4-0 overall. And again, we'll speak with Bill Ball coming up at 6:45. Bishop Girton, still unbeaten. No problem on the road at Merrimack. They take a short drive up Route 3 and pound out the Tomahawks 42-6. BG, after 3 straight road games, returns to Stello Stadium this weekend. Speaking of Stello Stadium, it was the Battle of the Bridge on Friday night, and it wasn't much of a battle. North put South to bed early on the way to a big shutout blowout, 47-0. The Titans, as you mentioned, Steve, are on that short list of contenders at 4-0 as they gun for their second Division I championship in just 3 years. The defending Division II champions, now D1 contender Timberlane, is number 5 in the poll. They had a big win on the road at Keene. Never an easy place to play, but made it look easy. 42-14.
That's a strong win
over the Blackbirds. Timberlane going to be tested right here on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire at home out in Plastow tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern. Bedford, they continue to climb the polls. 49-0 over Goffstown in Week 4. They've won 3 straight since their opening night loss against Nashua North. And again, look like they're starting to come together under Coach Zach Matthews. Then there's a tie at 7, Concord and Pinkerton. Pinkerton slips for the first time following the loss. They're 3-1, and Concord now has won 3 straight. Their latest victim, Alvern, 56-7, as Concord continues to put up some gaudy numbers. Sauhegan will get a taste of the Sabres on Saturday. They stay pat at number 9, the lone Division II team in the top 10. Sauhegan, no problem over the weekend, 61-0 over Lebanon. They're 4-0 going into Plymouth on Saturday. And rounding things out, Spalding. Red Raiders, after an 0-9 season a year ago, 4-0, following a 36-23 victory over Dover. That hands the Green Wave their only loss of the season. So there it is to recap. Londonderry 1, Exeter 2, BG 3, North 4, same as last week. Pinkerton at 5, Bedford 6, Concord and Pinkerton tied at 7, Sauhegan at 9, Spalding at 10.
Well, I have Londonderry, obviously North and BG kind of in that upper tier. They look very difficult to beat, and they're proving it every single week. And they've had some tough matchups with each other. And North gave BG a fight. Was it 19-7 or something like that? I forgot the exact score, but they look very, very solid as well, and got some big players and some guys that can match up against anybody. But the middle of the pack there, Nick, Timberlane, Bedford is a real. They're emerging. There's something going on there. Hard to not have Wyndham in there, Nick, to be perfectly honest with you, for me.
They did receive a few votes.
Yeah, did receive a few votes. And
the Jaguars are 2-2 with two respectable losses.
Yeah, but they took Londonderry. They took Londonderry right, played 2.5, almost 3 quarters, pretty tight with Londonderry. And that says a lot of that Wyndham team. So let's not lose sight of them as we move forward in the ensuing weeks, because I think they're a solid football team. How about Spalding? To me, you can't get through a broadcast without just really relishing and enjoying these guys' season and everything that Kevin Hebert's got going with that program, the Red Raiders out in Rochester.
Quickly becoming the feel-good story
it really
of
is.
The year.
Yep.
At least so far as we approach the midway point. All right, we're going to inject some energy into the show very soon, with Tom King on the other side. The Tom Pound closed down, however. Yeah. Tom is ready to roll.
Does he call you ahead of time and ask you that, or tell you that, or
he texted me a picture with the
pool. He doesn't text me a picture, so I have to get after him.
So he told me to keep it to myself.
I bet he
didn't want to upset you before the show. Too late now, I guess. Tom King, longtime senior editor with the Nashua Telegraph and broadcaster with ETV, joins us on the other side. You're watching FNL Gridiron right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. It's FNL Gridiron here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. The big show on the way, week number 5. We're getting ready for that with a double header. Tomorrow night, we are in Plastow. Timberlane playing host to Exeter, 2 D1 powers. Grappling for position, 2 top 5 teams in our poll. We get things going. That's a 6:30, I guess, kick. I thought it was 7. 6:30. Is the kickoff, which means our pregame coverage begins at about 6:15. Then on Saturday, that is a 2 o'clock start between Sauhegan and Plymouth. Sabres unbeaten in Division II. Bobcats, of course, perennially tough under head coach Chris Sanborn.
Coach Boquet goes back years.
And Coach Sanborn join us in hour number 2.
Game.
And, of course, Bill Ball of Exeter on the way at 6:45 following Kevin Fitzgerald of Timberlane at 6:30. But right now, we bring in Tom King, senior staff writer with the Nashua Telegraph and broadcaster with ETV. There he is.
Get a load of the cover.
Despite the fact that the pool is covered up, Tom is still outside here at sundown. Tom, how are you?
Good, guys. I just wanted to emphasize this for Steve, just so he can really believe that it's closed for the season.
I see the cover on it.
Yep. Okay. So now you know.
Beautiful.
For sure. All right.
Hey, Tom. Nick and I would like one of those jackets you got there. That is a nice looking jacket.
Nice. Courtesy of the Telegraph about 4 or 5 years ago. It keeps me warm out here. You know,
I bet.
I never leave I never go far from the pool, as you guys can tell. So
absolutely not.
Closed.
You've worked hard.
Couple of corrections. One, I'm not a senior editor. I'm just a staff reporter. So I kind of coordinate,
plain old
but I'm not.
Staff reporter. Okay.
I don't have the editor title. If I did, well, you know, I guess I could bill him for back pay. Who knows?
I figured after 30 years you would have negotiated that, but I guess not. Huh?
Yeah, no kidding. I know it. Bad on me.
Well, you're senior on here. You're senior staff writer with us.
You sure
I'm a senior on everything right now. Believe me, I'm a senior in everything. The other thing is North and BG haven't played each other yet.
I know that. Ben was all over me in the intermission. Yep. I made a mistake. I know North and South completely, but I mix them up when I talk about somebody else playing with them, and I do it all the time. So
believe me. The South game wasn't that close. It was 37-7.
It wasn't. So, what I was talking about was actually meant to say was the North Bedford game. They North beat Bedford. That was the game that I was talking about when I was talking about the Bedford. So I apologize to the audience. Did not mean to make that mishap. And thank you for the correction, Tom.
By the way, BG won't play North until week 8. By the way,
October 21st.
Yep.
And BG will finally have a test next week.
Right.
When they face Londonderry on the road. Now, granted, Winnicott got a good defense. They could give him a game. So the only thing is, I don't know if Winnicott can match points with BG.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. I'll tell you what, guys. I haven't gone to a lot of competitive football games this year. I really haven't. I believe that the last 4 games I've covered, the aggregate score, the combined score is 185-32.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, it's just art. You gotta pick your spots. The powers have not really collided yet. Londonderry and Pinkerton did last week.
Absolutely.
But North and South was a letdown here in Nashua. It was all North. South is having a real struggle this season. Mm-hmm. you got to pick your spots to find a competitive game. You'll have one on Saturday when Sahin goes to Plymouth. That will be a very good game. But overall, this weekend, the only other real solid game is in Division III with Campbell and Trinity.
Right.
Exeter Timberlane doesn't do it for you, Tom? Exeter Timberlane,
I guess any kind of game with Exeter and a team like Timberlane would. Timberlane's, they're good, but they're not, not as good as they were last year in D2. So, but it'll be a good. I mean, look, it'll be a barometer for both teams where they are. And the one thing is, it'll be at Timberlane, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be on grass. And I'll tell you what, it's not easy for teams that play on turf to go play on grass.
Yeah. The other thing about that, Tom, is that field has about a 3.5-foot crown. And you got to get used to playing on that field. And if you haven't played there often, it is a different experience. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a tough place to play. There's no question about it. So that and Exeter will probably keep it on the ground, and so it'll be a good battle. I mean, Timberlake can be physical.
Yeah.
So they're competitive. They almost BG was close to blowing them out, didn't blow them out, and paid all the price for it. Losing in beating Timberlane in a closer game than expected. So
and Keene is not the worst team in the Division I, Tom. They're not a bad football team, and they play physical, they play hard, and they got beat by Timberlane 42-14 in Keene. That's not always a fun place to play either.
Saying something.
So that's saying something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're in for a pretty good game.
You're going to see some of these teams bounce back from bad weeks. The ones that can't are the teams that are rebuilding for next year. I feel bad for Goffstown. Goffstown's really struggling.
Yeah.
And I'll be at North Goffstown tomorrow night, and it's not going to be very pretty.
Right.
So at least it doesn't look to be. So
I think Coach knows how to handle that, though, Nick. I mean, Tom, I think Coach knows how to handle
that. I think they all do. I mean, look, when BG played them, right, they used 5 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And the starters were gone by midway through the second quarter. It was only 16-7 after one quarter. Goffstown returned the opening kick for a touchdown. So it wasn't like they just, 35-42 nothing. But at halftime, BG had hit 60 points with their reserves.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I did a column on it last weekend on how it's tough for some teams. And if you talk to a few coaches, they think it's a direct relation to COVID affecting the numbers beginning 2 years ago, and that stayed with.
And that legacy is living itself out now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, it stayed with a lot of the programs.
Nick, can I ask him a question about a team? Yeah. Tom, talk to me about Bedford. I've got some film. I've been really studying Bedford because that defense, to me, we saw it against early in the season against North. I thought they played fantastic against defense against North, and I think they're better today than they were then. I think that you could argue they have some of the you could argue they have the best linebacker core in the state, and I'm not saying they necessarily. I think they're right up there for sure. What do you make of Bedford right now? To me, they're a team with a high ceiling.
Defense. It's all about their defense.
Championship defense.
If you go to play Bedford and you get over, say, 17 points, you've had a good night.
Right. Because
they are tough. I mean, North scored 19, and one of them was Toby Brown Jr.'s scoop and score.
Correct.
So their offense didn't produce a whole lot. But granted, their offense was kind of behind their defense at the start of the year as far as North goes.
Right.
But for Bedford, their defense has been ahead of their offense all season long. And I would want to have to play them in a postseason game if their defense continues to gel the way it is. You just said it. They're getting better every week. What does a football coach ask from his team, right? Get better every week.
Right, exactly.
And then you'll see where the chips fall where they may.
Tom, we've only got about a minute remaining here, and we don't want to keep Coach Fitzgerald waiting. He's sneaking away. from a Hall of Fame induction ceremony. But give us the rundown. Where will you be this weekend, and what will you be looking for?
Well, I'm not going to be at too many competitive games because I'll be at North Goffstown tomorrow night because we always like to cover the national teams. I want to see Alvern. I want to see what the situation is with them. And, Tarek, gives me his stuff every Friday night. So I'm going to go over to Wyndham on Saturday. And I've seen Wyndham already. I know how good they are, how competitive they are. I want to see what Alvern can do there on a Saturday afternoon. And then I'll see Bishop Girton and Winnicott on Saturday night. So that's where I will be this weekend. I've got someone covering Campbell Trinity. So that to me is the other game of the weekend right there. Campbell Trinity, great game in Division 3. Like I said, probably a preview of their final.
All right, Tom, we appreciate it. We'll catch up in a few weeks and enjoy the weekend. Thanks for coming on.
It's going to be a great second half of the season, Tom. Great second half of the season. You're right on about the matchups coming up. They're going to be dynamite. Some great matchups.
That's what we're going to see. We'll know a lot more then. We'll know a lot more in 3 to 4 weeks than we do now.
Yep.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
And again, Tom King.
He's awesome.
Staff reporter with the Nashua Telegraph, broadcaster with ETV. All right, we're going to skip the break. I just got the permission from the boss behind the curtain. We are going to welcome in Timberlane head coach Kevin Fitzgerald right now because time is of the essence. Coach, of course, now in his 15th season, first in Division 1. Let's bring him in. There he is. Coach, we appreciate you sneaking away. How are you tonight?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You can hear us okay, Coach?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit of a delay, but we'll work through it. Your team playing very good football. That's all right. Your team playing very good football right now. A 42-14 win, the latest at a tough place to play out west at Keene. Of course, there's the one blemish on the schedule, a 3-point loss against Bishop Girton. I guess we'll start there, Coach. I'd imagine that you're pretty proud of the way that your team was able to respond from that loss, go hard in the second half, make that final score a competitive one, and then you've been really lights out ever since. Give us a sense of this group, I guess, going back to that Week 2 loss against the Cardinals, and what kind of improvements you've seen across the line since.
Yeah, we talked about, after the Bishop Girton game, we talked about playing a complete game. And actually after the Winnicott game as well, we didn't feel like we had played a complete 4-quarter game. And last week we were able to do that. So I guess that was the best takeaway from that. From start to finish, I thought we played well in all 3 phases. We intercepted a pass on defense. We returned a kickoff for a touchdown. To steal a phrase from Coach Belichick, I guess complimentary football. But I guess the full 4-quarter game that we played was most pleasing to us.
These seniors, Coach, I'd imagine collectively bring a lot of experience back to the table, a lot of championship experience after that D2 title was captured last year. How much of the early season success do you contribute to those seniors, to those veterans who were able to seemingly hit the ground running here in your first year in Division 1?
Yeah, it's our first year back in one. These kids, our seniors, we started 5 freshmen in Division 1 when they 3 or 4 years ago. These guys lined up against Londonderry and Salem, and they took a little bit of a licking. But we're a little bigger, faster, stronger, a little more equipped now to play in this division. And our guys are excited for the challenge. Played pretty well so far. They're experienced. They've won at a few different levels. So, this is a group that we are enjoying right now for sure while we have them.
Kevin, first, before I ask you the question, I want to congratulate the whole program over there, from the Tornadoes right up through the high school program, about going Division 1. I think it's a gutsy move, and to see you guys succeeding and playing head-to-head with the top brass of the league is just really exciting to see, because that Timberlane Owl Stadium is a lot of fun to go to. There's a lot of spirit there, and you guys put on a great venue. So congratulations for the success so far. I want to look forward here to Exeter. Ground and pound team. I don't know how much experience you've had playing Exeter before, if you guys have scrimmaged them, if you played them head-to-head before, but as you go into this game, what are the things that you have talked to your players that you have to do well in order to compete and potentially pull one out in that matchup?
Yeah, we have a lot of experience playing Exeter over the years. I mean, as I said, we were in Division One,
Division Two,
10 to 12 years prior to. Yeah, the old Division Two, but
in the
new Division One, we played them. Yeah, and then we've played them, for quite some time there. So, again, a lot of experience. We scrimmaged them last year, so we're somewhat familiar with what they do. Coach Ball does an outstanding job for a long, long time. Guys that Coach Swazinski and Coach Quinn that are with them. Those guys actually were, when I was a student at Timberlane, they were there and coaches of mine. So they were great mentors and role models to me. So again, familiar with the program, but we're looking forward to the challenge. Like you said, ground and pound. They're going to line up in the tee and try and get you off tackle and run trap and control the clock, shorten the game, play field position with their special teams. They play great defense. They tackle well. They're physical. Good size, so they certainly pose a challenge to us in a bunch of different areas.
As far as the field conditions, Exeter playing on turf pretty much every week, and a lot of the fields that they go to, they're playing on turf. You guys have a grass field, has an extremely high crown. You guys seem to play at home very, very strong. Do you see that as an advantage? And how do you think that will play out, or will it have any effect at all? Field conditions, as far as
I don't know that the surface will be. I don't know that the grass or that the grass tomorrow night will play a big role. It's going to come down to execution. It's going to come down to hanging on to the football. It's going to come down to great tackling. It might come down to a special teams play here or there, but it's going to be players on the field, executing and playing well as opposed to the playing surface for sure.
You guys seem to finish really strong. That comeback at BG, I watched the whole game. That comeback that you guys had in the second half of BG, if it wasn't for Matt Sanasuazo at times just doing an incredible performance, as far as I'm concerned, that seemed to be the difference for me in the game. But if you look at the matchups that you guys have, you've been finishing strong all year. Is that because you're getting started slow? Is that something you're looking to fit, or is it just because you guys just get stronger consistently as the game goes on? Because that's what I've seen.
I think it's a combination. Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I think like I said, we were pleased last week that we played a full 48-minute game. We started well against Keene. It's something that we stressed with our guys. It's something that, as a coach, you have to have your team prepared to play right from the start. And I told our guys that I need to do a better job of that, of having us ready to play right from the opening kick. But it's also a tribute to our kids who, can sense the urgency in the second half. Can, when we, may have to make some adjustments at halftime, they're veteran guys who can shift on the fly a little bit, and we can adjust things if we need to. But again, that's a credit to our players that they can handle those things and understand the situation in the second half.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Love watching you guys play football. It's always tough. You guys play tough all the time. That's one thing that whether you play on the road or at home, you guys are just a very physical football team. And how exciting it is to me. I used to watch you guys back in the early 2000s when you were in that old Division II, when you guys would play BG and Exeter and stuff like that. Great division. It's great to see it all matched up here at the top. I wish you the best of luck, Kevin. I think you do a great job.
I appreciate it, guys, and I just want to give a plug. You talked about the old Division II, and I'm at the Timberlane Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony tonight, and Coach Mike Paraso is being inducted. I worked for Coach Paraso for 11 years as an assistant. Great mentor, role model, friend to me. Kyle Harrington, who was a horse on our 2001 state championship team, he's going in tonight. And Jason Hughes as well, who was our quarterback, was the MVP of the Chad game, kicked at UNH. So we've got great representation for the football program tonight. So it's a good night for the athletic community as a whole and the football program.
Excellent. Best of luck.
Coach, we expect you'll have the place rocking and rolling tomorrow night for us, or what?
Yeah, we hope so. We hope to get a good crowd there tomorrow night, and hopefully, our guys perform for us.
Super. Looking
Coach,
forward to that game.
Good luck for sure, and thanks again for sneaking away. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it. You guys do a great job, and I appreciate all you do for New Hampshire football.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. That, again, is Kevin Fitzgerald, head
Class
coach
act
of the Timberlane Owls, now in his 15th season, and you heard a little bit of the history mixed in amongst the answers there. They were D2, of course, last year, D2 champions.
Yep.
Prior to that, D1. Prior to that, D2, going back 20 or so years. So they've over the years been able to bounce up and down, and no matter what, more often than not, have found success. But to your point, Steve, that set it off, how impressive to jump up and not just compete, but immediately kind of break into that top 5 or so, that top tier of Division I contenders, seemingly right away.
Takes a feeder program at the base to get young fellas interested in football. They have that. The Tornadoes have been doing that for years. They've had great leadership. I used to coach in the junior high league, junior high league. Where Lowell was involved and Lawrence and Manchester Bears, and it was a great league. It was all about teaching kids the fundamentals of football. And let me tell you, when you went and played Timberlane, you knew it. They were tough. Even when they might have had a weak team, those kids came out punching every single game. That's just built into the culture. And then Kevin's able to fine-tune that. I watched him on the sidelines, and I watched the relationship that he has on the sidelines with his players. There's no question who's the leader of that program, and everything works in sync. And then behind that in the bleachers is a lot of spirit, and they come out and support the program because they've been doing it since Mighty Mites or 8, 9 years old, and they come up through. So you have that Division I that kind of was a combination of Division I and II. It's just better with Timberlane in there, and I'm thrilled about it.
I agree. And again, what's made, I think, life easier for Coach is the fact that he brings so much back from that championship team. 14 starters.
Yeah.
Okay, a number of seniors really across the board. You take a look at the skill positions, the defense, the O-line. When you get a group like that knows what to expect, right, it just makes everything smoother.
It does. And the other thing is he had 5 freshmen, that, as he alluded to, I read that in an article as well, 5 freshmen that played at the varsity level. Now, those guys are just getting beat, banged around. I mean, and what happens is it just calluses your performance in the sense that you're not afraid of anybody. By the time you're at the end of your sophomore year, you can't wait. You almost feel like a senior in your junior year when you play freshman varsity. And you're used to adversity. You're used to guys being bigger, faster, and stronger than you. Then all of a sudden you develop. And he's got that mojo going with him right now. And he's offensively, his program exploits defenses, I think, very, very well. We went over there to watch him play Milford against Coach Jones' team is going to be a good team. You know that. Milford's going to be strong. They're going to game plan. They're going to come after you. And to watch Timberlane's performance last year, the game that we did was just you could just really see why the Owls are contenders. They're not just looking at. We're not just looking at them; they are contenders, and they've beaten some good competition. And I would expect anyone, if you really want to see Timberlane play, watch them play in the 3rd and 4th quarter against BG, and we know how good BG is. They were done, what, 20 to 6, 20 to 7, I think was the score you reported in the end of the half.
Yeah, that was week 2. And
week
then,
2.
Again, they won the second half.
And if Matt Chanasuazo does not do what he did,
right,
they win that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you take a look.
He's tremendous.
41-13 in the opener over Memorial before that 23-20 loss against Bishop Girton the 2 weeks since, 28-12 at Winnicott, and then 42-14 over Keene. One other piece of the program that sometimes gets overlooked, but Coach again alluded to there, we know how important the feeder system is, but how about the alumni as well? Seemingly coming back, volunteering, building a sense of culture, having award night, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I mean, this stuff adds up, I think, and really gives a nice polish to the program itself moving forward.
And programs that are regional school districts that have a lot of fingered towns like Pinkerton and like Timberland, a lot of communities going for you got to have that outreach into those other communities that aren't where the high school is. And Coach O'Reilly, and the youth programs, the Demons and the Wolverines, they're for Pinkerton, those feeder programs are tremendous, as well as the Tornadoes do a terrific job. You go through those neighborhoods, you see signs out, for recruiting for youth football. And what that does is gets those 35, 40 guys every single year to come out for varsity football. And then when you take Coach Fitzgerald and his crew's leadership and training and enhancing their techniques and building them up as bigger, faster, stronger football team players as they grow older, it's all going on there. So, but a regional school district. It is a tall order. It isn't like you have one community where everybody's coming into that community like a Bedford or a Merrimack or the vast majority of the programs.
Geographically, you got to be all over the map.
You got to be all over the map and be recruiting in all these communities and have contact people, etc.
It's a tall order, but the sea captain has been able to do it.
I hope he doesn't mind that I nicknamed him that. But you look at a guy like that. Don't you believe he's the type of guy that can lead a ship and get you to port? And he's got that capability.
Absolutely,
and that's why I call him the ship captain. Plus, with a name like Fitzgerald, really,
I think it's a great nickname.
He's a leader.
Timberlake,
great guy,
playing host to Exeter tomorrow night, and you can watch it live in full 1080 HD right here on Friday Night Lights in New Hampshire. That's a 6:30 kick. Our coverage begins at 6:15. All right, we got the Timberlane perspective. Now we welcome in Bill Ball, or next, I should say. He's on the other side of the break. Coach now in his 30th season, looking for another ring. Exeter's 4-0.
What a history.
Looking to get to 5-0 with a win on the road tomorrow night. The old ball coach joins us in about 3 minutes. Don't go away. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. It's FNL Gridiron, and it's right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. We're live every Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern, during football season. If you can't watch the show live, don't worry. All the archives are up on our YouTube channel, Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Again, that's FNLNH Media. We appreciate Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph and ETV coming on. We thank Kevin Fitzgerald for sneaking away from the Hall of Fame induction ceremony to speak with us moments ago. Coming up, Robin Boquet of Salhegan, Chris Sanborn of Plymouth at 7 and 7:15. Right now, longtime head coach Bill Ball joins us on the phone live from Exeter High School. The Blue Hawks will be taking on Timberlane tomorrow night here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Coach Ball, how are you?
Doing well, guys. Doing well.
We appreciate you coming on. Take us back to last Friday night, a 3-0 game. It was a battle, as you just told us off air. We expected such in a rivalry game. And you find a way to win. Special teams comes through for you in the fourth quarter with the field goal, and then the defense makes a play inside the 5-yard line in the closing seconds to seal the deal. What was the lesson learned there, Coach, for your club?
Well, I think, as always, you have to respect your opponent. You have to respect the rivalry, and we do. We knew what we were getting into. We talked about a one-possession game all week, and it came down to execution with the field goal unit, and it came down to a nose guard, Maddox Kim, making a big play, knocking the ball out at the end of the game. So great effort, great hustle, good execution, physical football game, both sides. Really, really good win against a good team. They may be 0-4, but we didn't look at them that way. No way.
Yeah. Coach, a couple of your colleagues gave your team a lot of praise last week on this show. Brian O'Reilly of Pinkerton said, I think the quote was, it looks like one of those Exeter teams, so to speak, that we've seen in years past. And, of course, Roger Brown of the New Hampshire Football Report basically said your team is just rock solid across the board. How would you describe your team 4 weeks into the season, maybe or maybe not in comparison with some of the other championship groups you've had over the past 3 decades?
Yeah, we have a really, really good senior group. Get an experienced quarterback in Evan Packard, who's done a great job for us. Good senior leadership. And again, I think we're still trying to come together up front. I think we've simplified things a little bit this week, and I like our team. I think we can throw it well enough, certainly can run it well enough, and we always want to play good defense and special teams.
Hi, Coach Steve Beals. Hey, thanks for coming in. As always, love to have you on the show. Congratulations on putting together a looks. I agree with what everybody else has told us last week. Looks to be a very solid and deep football team. But before we go to Exeter, let's talk about Winnicott. Obviously, you have a history of respecting your opponents, and that's been part of your success. What can you say about Winnicott on the 3 phases of the game, special teams, defense, offense? If you were going to put an exclamation point on one of those, which one would it be? I hear defense, right?
Yeah, they're front 8. They're front 8, led by the Fredericks kid. He's a terrific player, inside tackle. He's everywhere. He's a college player. He's a collegiate player. He's got a motor. He won't stop. I like their inside linebackers. I like Brown. He plays downhill. Sophomore number 6. He plays downhill. The front 8 is formidable, and we knew that going in. I mean, even with the Portsmouth game, 25-0, there were a lot of pick sixes, and they held Portsmouth to, I think, maybe
get the score up.
Yards in the second half. Yes, and so a lot of those things were deceiving, and it didn't go by my eyes. So we knew we were in for a one-score game. We probably thought it might have been a little bit higher scoring than that, but that's how it turned out.
A lot of double teaming on the offensive line, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But I watched two games now, because I always like to hear Sherm. As you know, on the PA system, I love Sherm. And on a serious note, your offensive line saw substitutions, and I didn't see any fallback. Are you exceedingly deep this year in the offensive line? Because that's what it looks like.
Well, aside from the center position, we always want to play 3 guards, 3 or 4 tackles, and 3 or 4 tight ends. We do that. We've done that forever. Just from the simple fact of experience. And you know what happens if you don't do that and somebody gets banged up in a game, and all of a sudden that young man has to go out there and perform. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we do it. We have a system of substitution that works well for us, and we do the same with halfbacks.
What I noticed specifically this year, even better than last year, is I didn't see any drop-off when some of those guys were substituted in. I respect you tremendously, obviously, as a coach. Am I accurate on that? Because that's what it looked like to me in the 2 games that I've watched.
Yeah, I think our tackle situation, our tight end situation is deep. We're developing more depth at the guard position, which is important for us. And we're pretty pleased that way. We have good numbers, so that helps.
Talk about the Evan Pafford and his development this year. One of the things that it looked to me as well is your team play action passes well. He seems to add that dimension. Talk to us about him, how he's been to coach this year, and his development. From as we move forward towards the middle of the season.
Yeah, he's been terrific. Can't say enough about his leadership. He's at his best when things are not going well, and that's the sign of a great leader. And
wow,
that's when he's at his best. Teammates respect him. He's always positive with his teammates, no matter what. And obviously, he's a run-pass threat. He's playing on defense. He's a backup punter. He holds the extra point.
Does it all.
He's a gifted athlete. Yeah, he's a very gifted athlete. Terrific basketball player. He can play multiple sports.
Seems very strong as far as emotionally as well. He doesn't seem to let things bother him. He seems very cool and very out there to accomplish the mission. That's what I saw as well, Coach. Of course, obviously, coaching is important, but that's also who the person is themselves.
Yeah, he's got great poise, His dad was a real good player at Portsmouth, and his uncle was Brian Papp at the Portsmouth Coast. So he's been born with sports, and it shows. He doesn't get upset, or he really is poised in tough situations. That's what I love about him.
Last quick question, Coach. Going into Timberlane. I talked to Coach Fitzgerald. I don't know if you heard before about the field conditions there, where you guys play on more of a flat turf field going in there. But looking back on all of those many games I went back from between 2000 and 2006, I think it was, where you guys went at it in that old Division II, which I actually really enjoyed as a division, by the way. I went to more of those games. I did Division I. But, talk to me about Timberlane, what you see. What can you say about Coach Fitzgerald and his program there?
Yeah, Fitzy's done a great job. They've got a really good senior group. I've seen this group come up since the 8th grade. I watched them. That's our guys, and good group. Quarterback kind of stirs the pot a little bit. He's a run-pass threat, 6'3", 215 pounds. He's evasive, but he's also a downhill guy. He's not afraid to take the ball up inside, and he'll throw it any time. So that, and then he's got the good running back, number 19, number 5.
Yep.
Kind of scat backs, and Williams is a threat on the edge, number 20, the wideout, and get a nice package. What I'm really impressed with, I think, is strongest part of them is their offensive line. They're,
physical.
They played together. they're physical. They play together. They've got about 3 or 4 schemes that they run extremely well. They're a ton of tray scheme. They've got a reach scheme. They inside zone. They know what they're doing. So you have to hold up in the gaps. You can't surrender your gaps. And it will be. I think it will be another typical Exeter Timberland game, like it was years ago.
Oh yeah.
Done at Plastow tomorrow night.
We're looking forward to it, Coach. I know that. And we appreciate you coming on. Good luck tomorrow night, and thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for everything, guys. Do a great job. Appreciate it.
All right, give us a wave tomorrow night, will you?
I'll do that.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you. That, again, is head coach Bill Ball, one of the gems, really, statewide. An institution, a Hall of Famer. He's also the AD, as we know. Now 30 seasons on the sideline, and we talked about them during the summer. They kind of stepped up their off-season program, the participation, really kind of a full-time job for some of those kids in the month of August, seemingly gearing up for another run, so to speak, and they're 4-0 through 4 weeks.
They're well-conditioned. When one of the things that you can clearly see when you watch them on film, that their conditioning, whoever the slowest guy is in the team is increased to maximum. Everybody's hitting their ceiling and their capability when you watch them play. And it doesn't matter so much about what you run; it's how much you believe in it. And he believes in his program. Let me tell you one other thing about Exeter that I've watched year in, year out, and I don't think they get the accolades that they deserve. They play a serious defensive backfield. We watched them when it meant the most in Dover, when the offense wasn't really cranking for Exeter, because everybody's offense can struggle. Their defense steps up on big. So they're a whole and a complete football team, and they do very few things to hurt themselves, and that comes from coaching from the top all the way down to the bottom. As talk about feeder programs, Nick, I mean, as
good as it gets.
Exeter's as good as it gets, absolutely.
All right, we'll be on the air with them.
Be a fun game.
Tomorrow night, 6:30 is the kick, 6:15 is our pregame coverage. Exeter at Timberlane in our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week presented by Beals Insurance. Hour number 2 on the other side, we focus on our big D2 showdown Saturday between Sauhegan and Plymouth. Sabre head coach Robin Boquet joins us on the other side. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. It's hour number 2 here on FNL Gridiron. We're presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. We're live every Thursday night, 6 o'clock here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. If you can't watch it live, don't worry. The archives are up shortly after on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights on YouTube at FNLNH Media. 2 more live games for you this weekend beginning tomorrow night. We're in Plastow as Timberlane plays host to Exeter. 2 of the top 5 teams in the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll colliding at 6:30. Our coverage begins at 6:15. Then on Saturday, we head up north for the first time. We'll be at Plymouth, Sauhegan, and Plymouth, the Sabres and Bobcats. 2 o'clock is the kickoff. 1:45 is our pregame. Again, that's Saturday afternoon, Sauhegan at Plymouth. We'll talk to Chris Sanborn in just a few minutes. Right now, let's bring him in. Robin Boquet, head coach with Sauhegan, already in his 6th season. And, of course, looking for another championship down there in Amherst. Coach, how are you?
I'm well, boys. How are you?
We're good. We're good. We're ready to go. Looking forward to seeing you guys up north on Saturday. Let's talk about this.
Coming at D2, let's go.
That's right. Coach, tell us a little bit about the start to the season. Obviously, a lot of high expectations around your club over the summer. Everyone figured you'd be on the short list of contenders in Division II, and right now, all due respect to Guilford and some of the other teams, it looks like your team is the front runner. Would you agree with that 4 weeks in?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly got great players and we got a really nice squad, but we don't pay too much attention to standings or where we are in the power poll or anything like that. It's certainly it's certainly a privilege to be there and an honor. But for us, we just control what we can control, and that's being the best that we can be week in, week out, going 1-0 each week. No matter the opponent, no matter the score, we're playing as hard as we can for as long as we can, and those are all things that we can control. So maybe that's like a coach speak answer, but
pretty much
you gotta block out the noise, So, but no, we got some great players, and it's a lot of fun.
Coach, I hate asking about a sophomore right off the bat, but I'm going to do it anyway. Romy Jane has generated a lot of buzz. Obviously, still got a long way to go in terms of growth potential, but, I mean, he's already taking the state pretty much by storm with some of the gaudy numbers he's been able to put up. Tell me a little bit about Romy Jane. I know he comes from a football family, et cetera, but how good has this kid been as just a sophomore for your team?
Yeah, I know you mentioned you didn't want to bring up a sophomore right away, but the kid plays quarterback, right? So, like, that premier position in sports, and he's really freaking good. So, obviously, like, we're going to talk about him, and he's just, not to mention he's really talented. He's got great arm strength. His accuracy is fantastic. He puts in the work ethic, but it's all the intangibles for him. He got named by a captain by the players, and he took this team over as a freshman in like 7-on-7s. So that just goes to show that he knows that everyone's looking at him, and he's the one that's getting guys up for practice. He's the first on, last off type of kid, and he's it's all like he's been a great leader and a great teammate, and it's all those things you don't necessarily see aside from what kind of numbers he's putting up on a weekly basis.
That's really impressive, Coach. Have you seen anything like that before, where a kid so young grabs the reins and runs with it? I mean, where does that confidence, where does that moxie come from?
Yeah, it's got to come internal from that young man, and I'm sure that getting some confidence, from getting really good coaching, and once you have that ability, but it certainly comes from internal. And to be honest, I've never seen that before from a kid that young and that early. So he's got the it factor, in terms of that with the moxie and the competitiveness to go along with his natural abilities. And we couldn't be more thankful that he's with us, and he's been great.
Coach, thanks for coming on. As always, love to follow your team. And I had a conversation with a parent, not from Sauhegan, but went up his family, his children. Well, one of his sons went up against your team, and described your team very much the same way. I've seen a lot of Londonderry so far this year because I'm able to get on the TV and watch the games. Whether we're broadcasting or not. And which is kind of nice. And one of the things that I was describing to this parent was that Londonderry, obviously every team has fast guys who are God-given ability, just naturally fast, and that's a wonderful thing to have. But the middle body of their team, everybody's playing at the top of their game as far as conditioning-wise as it relates to bigger, faster, but mostly stronger, and the speed factor are the two things that are very evident. And when they come across the field, whether it's a lineman all the way up to a defensive back, everybody's kind of maxed out. He described you guys the same way. Everybody flies around. Everybody's going from the snap all the way to the whistle, and they're going full speed. Not only are they talented as far as understanding the game and the responsibility football, but that's the way he described your team in Division II. You've always had good teams, don't get me wrong. Always had those. What's going on this year? Is it in the drinking water? Is it in the conditioning program? Have you changed your approach? Or is this just an incredible group of guys that run deep from start to finish, bigger, faster, and stronger? Something's going on.
You bring up some good point, Beals. I would say that generally, like Amherst, Montgomery, and Sauhegan kids are generally pretty athletic. But I would say that what we've done the last 2 years is put a premium on speed above everything else in our summer program.
Okay.
And it's speed, agility. We're not even really focused on conditioning. If guys are familiar with Feed the Cats program, Tony Holler, it is we're doing a lot of that stuff, and we're putting a focus on how to run, speed. And we hardly condition in our place. We're doing it throughout practice. We're trying to create racehorses, not workhorses. And it's kind of hard for maybe old school football guys to kind of get that, to get out of that mentality. Like our guys are still working really hard, but they're just doing it without having to run guys into the ground. The days of running gassers and doing 110s and 300-yard shuttles are if you're still doing that, you're way behind the 8 ball. Now, there's certainly a level of toughness that comes with playing football and what you have to do during preseason, and we do all that. But in terms of in the summer, we're not trying to run them into the ground. We're trying to make them faster, and in turn, they're going to be conditioned enough. But I would say that we pride ourselves on being the most athletic line that we can in the state, and we returned 4 out of 5 starters from last year's team, and they're all bigger, stronger, faster. And so we take pride in that athleticism, even up.
So just to get this right, Coach, right, everybody has fast guys on their team. We're talking about the middle framework of the team when you take the naturally fast guys out. So there is something going on that you're using, taking tactical measures to make those guys faster in the field. Because to me, I see a lot of commonality between you guys and Londonderry in Division I, Division II, in that being present.
For sure, and we appreciate that. And obviously, Jimmy and I are good friends, so we're constantly talking about how to make our programs better. And in terms of the speed work, that is certainly one that comes up in conversation a lot with us. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, our one of our best players, JJ Bright, one of the best players in the state, bar none. He is like legit fast. He's like a 4.57 clock kid at many camps. And then it's more of like we have way more kids that are in that 4.7, 4.8 range than maybe other teams do. So
and that helps.
Putting speed at a premium at our place has helped a ton in all facets of the game.
You're going to go up to Plymouth this week, and my son Ben just you got to go to Plymouth. You got to go to Plymouth. You've got to see that game because we've wanted to get up there for a long time. Bobcats, I've gone up there 5 times, watching my sons play at different times. A special place to go up and play football. It's a tough place, I think, to play football. When you look forward to your film study this week, what is it about that team that you've got to get your team ready for in particular?
Yeah, it's classic Plymouth. Coach Sanborn does an awesome job and his staff, in terms of being the most fundamental team and well-execute team that doesn't make mistakes than anyone that we're going to see. Offensively, they do what they do. They run their off-tackle stuff. They run their trap stuff. They run their wing tee stuff, better than a lot of people, and it shows. And then, you have to be sound defensively and do your job and get off. They make you get off blocks and tackle, get off blocks and tackle, and you got to do it for four quarters. Mm-hmm. And then from a defensive standpoint, they're running. They're pretty well disciplined. They get their reads. They don't make a lot of mental mistakes. And they, like us, they fly around with the football and they're solid tacklers. So it's always fun playing up there. I was like 0-5 as a player going up to Plymouth.
Tough place to play.
Yeah, it's awesome though. Like having that spot up on the hill, you can, they got like the old ski jump lift. I don't even know what it is, but it's always fun going up there, and maybe we'll snag some Biedermans on the way home. I don't know, but it's
there you go.
It's a lot of fun going up to Plymouth.
Coach, congratulations so far this year. This season's long from over. Got a lot of work ahead, but, boy, you're off to a great start, and a lot of buzz around Division II and all through the state about what Sauhegan's doing. And so congratulations to you on that. I'm fascinated with this game with these two very different styles coming up Saturday, and I'm very interested to see some key matchups that I've got. I won't mention names, but I want to see some. There's about 3 or 4 different matchups that I want to see. Looking forward to it. So thanks for coming on. Before I hand it back to Nick, and best of luck Saturday, and I expect it'll be a good one.
Thanks,
Coach,
Steve.
we appreciate it.
You betcha.
Coach,
Thanks,
likewise.
Nick.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Good luck Saturday. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
And again, Robin Boquet, 6th year at his alma mater, Sauhegan. 4-0, looking to go 5-0. Tough trip, traditionally, up to Plymouth. We cover it for you Saturday at 2 o'clock, 1:45 or so is our pregame coverage. All right, don't want to keep him waiting much longer.
No.
Chris Sanborn on the other side, our final guest. Plymouth, what'll it take for the Bobcats to pull the upset at home? We'll ask Coach next. You're watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit newhampshiretomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. All right, back here for the final segment of FNL Gridiron. Here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, we're presented by Beals Insurance. Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. Another double header coming to you in week number 5, beginning tomorrow night. In Plastow, Timberlane at Exeter, 2 Division I powers battling for midseason supremacy, we'll say. 6:30 is the kick, 6:15 is our pregame coverage. Then Saturday, we take a trip north to Plymouth. Bobcats and Sabres. Sauhegan at Plymouth, 2 o'clock is the kick. 1:45 is our pregame coverage. And again, if you missed any part of tonight's show, it's a perfect way to get yourself ready for those 2 broadcasts. Check them out anytime on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Joining us now, Chris Sanborn, now at his 9th season as head of the Bobcat program. He joins us now from Plymouth. Coach, good evening. How are you?
Very good. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
I like the decorations in the office. Always good to get a sneak peek inside the head coach's office.
That's
Coach.
a good one.
It looks nice. Your team, I guess we'll start. A couple weeks back, you caught a loss against Bow, and seemingly, I guess that served as kind of a silver lining for your group because you've been playing pretty well ever since. Assess, in general, the first 4 weeks, the first month of the campaign so far for your club.
Well, we're sitting at 3-1, which I think we're fortunate to be 3-1. We haven't played all that well. We were down the second half, a couple of those games. We got up early last week to Laconia 10-0, like 26 seconds in. We only won by 10. But we've done enough to win. We've been a little scrappy, but we've been sloppy. Obviously, Bo beat us. We made some mistakes down there, and you can't make mistakes. So, we always talk about getting better each week, and my biggest concern is we haven't really done that. But I got to give the kids credit that they've scrapped in the second half, come back, and they've won the games they had to win so far.
Yeah, there's got to be something to be said about finding a way, right, in the fourth quarter. Is that telling of the character of the group you've got?
Yeah, I think they work really hard. I think it shows that they physically they want to win. They don't quit. They go for it. But it's the mental mistakes that are holding us back right now, and not very typical of us. And we just got to fix those mistakes. We're really young. We're starting a lot of young kids, and the kids that some other kids lack experience, and they're just making mistakes. And we want to get better. We'd like to get in the playoffs. It's kind of our goal, and we just got to keep improving.
Well, that was kind of my next question. Only 6 returning starters on both sides of the ball, 3 on each side from a year ago. You mentioned a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience. What kind of a challenge did that present over the summer for you and your staff?
It's just difficult. You got these kids. We're in a big district, number one. It's tough to get kids together and, getting everyone on the same page. And our kids have really got in the weight room, and they really got after it. We had a kid die of cancer last year that was a senior last year. He really motivated the kids to get in the weight room and really get after it. And so that piece has been good. I think our kids are strong, but, it's just those mental pieces. And I think that conditioning and strength has carried us in the second half of these games and allowed us to win. But we got to put teams away. We got to stop making mistakes, and we just got to execute better on both sides of the ball.
Well, Coach, there's got to be something going well here when you finish strong. I mean, that's a positive, if you finish the game strong. But, you're going against Sauhegan this week, and you look forward to, this matchup with probably arguably a team that could potentially even compete in Division I. But Bobcat football is a special brand, and Bobcat football in Plymouth is a special brand especially. How do you think you guys match up, and what do you see looking forward in this game? But have you got to get started right? Have you got to get started early? If you got to have a big defensive play? What do your guys need? You think to stay strong in this game?
Well, I think Sauhegan's the better team on paper. They're one of the top teams in Division II, along with Pelham and Guilford Belmont. I've seen it really, really good. Hope people aren't sleeping on them. And, of course, Hanover. No. I think for us to compete in this game, I think, number one, we've got to start fast. We've got to execute. Obviously, we've got to get some breaks. The ball's got to bounce our way a few times, and we got to get a little bit lucky, to sort of say. And I think that's the big key. Hopefully some of those Plymouth breaks all bounce our way and give us a chance. But, to be in a game like this against a team that with their speed, and they're very well coached. Robin does a nice job down there, and they're fast and they're physical. That, we've got to execute up front on both sides of the ball. Defensively, we've got to be fundamentally sound.
Yes.
We can't leave guys wide open. We can't miss our assignments. Exactly. We got to make them earn it. And then on top of that, maybe we get a tip pass that we intercept, or maybe the ball drops on the ground. We're going to need a couple of those, that just those fluke turnovers that don't always happen, that maybe you don't earn, but you get.
Yep.
I think that's what it's going to take for us to have a chance to win the game.
I'm looking forward to see your team play. How has the penalty situation been this year with a group of young guys coming in? You were talking about making some mistakes here and there. Has that been improving as far as the laundry on the field, as far as holding? Those irritating type things, holdings and offsides and illegal motion. I mean, any of that stuff. False starts. How's that been going this year? Because you got a young group of guys. It says you graduated a ton of seniors.
Yeah, for the most part, we've done pretty well with that. We haven't had too many of those penalties, and I think what allowed us to win some of those games in the second half is that they were getting penalties, and we were disciplined. We weren't getting those penalties, so I'm proud of the kids. We have a few here and there, but definitely less than our opponent. But I think if you're going to compete with Sauhegan and you're going to compete in Week 5, you can't make any of those mistakes.
Right.
And we've got to really up our game in a hurry, and we got to change what we're doing. And again, if you want to compete with Sauhegan, we can't make those mistakes. We can't turn the ball over. We got to execute. We got to play the perfect game, and we got to have a couple of breaks go our way. That's what it's going to take for us to compete.
Keep it close down to the wire. and then try to control the football at the end of the game, as I see it for you guys. So your ball control, that you have such a culture up there to control the ball and win the time of possession. To me, the time of possession is going to be critical to keep that high-powered offense off the field. How about your offensive line this year, Coach? How do you think that stacks up as far as the strength on your team so far this year? I'm going to be watching them very closely.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're starting 3 sophomores on the offensive line, and that's really the youngest part. And a couple of those kids, honestly, never played football until last year. It was their first year playing football. They come a long ways. They're big, special kids. Down the road, they're going to be really, really good. But right now, it's a lot of things. We're throwing a lot at them and expecting a lot of them. We need them more than they need us right now.
Right.
And one of them played a lot of football growing up, and he's probably a little more advanced in that category. But so we're young there, but we're big. I think we're going to be really good in the future there. We've made some mistakes, and we've got to limit those mistakes going into the game on both sides of the ball. And
yeah, as you may know, I love getting to the line, through the line of scrimmage quick, and I mean, that is Bobcat football. Getting through the line, excellent technique and line play. I actually, I think controlling the football is going to be a big one tomorrow night, and that's been you guys. 3 sophomores in the offensive line is an incredible thing to be competing and be 3-1 with 3 sophomores in the line. So that's a credit to your coaching staff for sure. So best of luck. We've been wanting to come up for Plymouth for a long time, and I imagine leaves up there are in peak season because they're kind of in the beginning down here. I would assume it's going to be a really beautiful day up there to play football. We can't wait to get there and really showcase something that I knew. I've been up there, like I said, 4 or 5 times when my kids played football, and it's just a special environment. It really, truly is. So being there on Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. We look forward to it. And thank you again for coming on.
I appreciate it. Obviously, you guys coming up on a year we're a little down. Of course, how he can come to town. Hopefully we can live up to those expectations and we can play a little better and we can give you guys a show.
Yeah, well, we don't look at it that way. We look at the program, and Plymouth has got a tremendous history, and to be able to have that many young guys, look at what you've got looking forward to in the years to come as you develop them the way you want, and that's I mean it's exciting. Nothing like having a sophomore quarterback. I've always felt where you can get him varsity experience young. I don't mean you guys, but I'm just saying that. When you have young linemen like that, you can mold them the way you want, and you're going to have them come back. So, you're not giving up in this game. I'm sure not either, because I think your offense, if you can break some holes and you can control the ball, move the sticks, get a couple things going your way, I think it's worth driving up there, Coach. I really do. I'm looking forward to it.
So.
All right, bud.
Coach, I got one more for you. You have an all-state linebacker named Caden Sanborn.
Yep.
How has it been coaching him now that he's a senior?
Well, I coached my oldest son that graduated a couple years ago, graduated in the COVID year of 2020. It's probably not the best for him because, you got to go home, you got to get streamed on Saturdays during watching film, on Sunday morning. It's probably a lot better to not have to go home with the coach, I can tell you that, because there's no sympathy at home, that's for sure, getting after him. But, it's a good experience. But it's funny because it doesn't really feel like it's your kid when you're out in the practice field, you know what I mean? Right. It just seems so normal because all these kids are your kids, And we working pretty hard up here, We're getting after them. The parents are willing to let them get coached up, and kids are willing to make adjustments. And so it doesn't really cross your mind that they're your kid during practice. You don't really realize it until they graduate. And then it's over when you kind of notice that they were here.
Yeah. Yeah, then you go into a depression like I did for years because you don't have it anymore.
Coach, enjoy the moment, and good luck on Saturday. We appreciate you coming on with us tonight.
Sure do. Best of luck, Coach.
You guys do a great job, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach. Again, Chris Sanborn,
what a nice guy, huh? Great guy.
9th season now as
super guy,
as the head coach. Of course, coaching his son, Caden, who's now a senior. Heck of a player, by the way.
Coach before he was the head coach was for years.
On the staff,
a major part of that staff.
Speaking of the
program.
Plymouth staff, they got a huge staff. There's 13 assistant coaches, one of the bigger staffs, regardless of division, statewide, and doing what he can with what he's got. Again, only 6 returning starters, yet somehow, some way, They're sitting here at 3-1.
Plymouth football.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yep. All right. Final housekeeping note. Doubleheader comes your way this weekend, tomorrow night, Friday night. We are in Plastow. Timberlane and Exeter. Strap them up because two of the top 5 teams in the state are about to collide at 6:30 Eastern. We're on the air at about 6:15. Saturday, we make the trip to the North Country. Plymouth playing host to Souhegan, two of the premier Division II programs. Going head-to-head Saturday, 2 o'clock. We're on the air live at about 1:45 Eastern. Steve, your final thoughts on another successful edition of FNL Gridiron?
Firing away. The theme in my mind tonight, folks out there, pick your favorite head coach. Of the 4 guys we interview, who wouldn't want to have their sons and their children play football for these men?
Right.
New Hampshire is blessed with an incredible, and I mean that sincerely. Look at what Coach Hebert's doing out there, and for the Red Raiders. Hard work, suffered. With building that team, and look at them now. I mean, how about Coach Trisciani Jr.? Program in BG was way down, and look at it today. Coach Sanborn, look at the Coach Fitzgerald coming up Division One. I mean,
Wyndham.
Right. Coach, he was terrific the other night. I just
Byrne,
go on, and I hate to leave anybody out. And
how about Coach Zabolis, first year at North?
But that's no surprise. I mean, we talked to him. This guy's a football guy. Dante was a key guy for Dante. Comes back, takes over.
Still, those are big shoes to fill.
Big shoes
at least
to fill.
4 weeks.
I miss Dante. Actually, I think he's a terrific coach. But I'm just missed. It's great to see Dante around football, and he is. But getting back to the coaches, Nick, these are special people, and. When you get old, look back, it's not about how much money you made or anything else. It's about what you made a difference in young people's lives. And these men are critical to the development of these future men. And when you interview these people, just first rate, just first class. New Hampshire is very lucky to have the coaching guild that they do.
I agree. And there's been an influx over the last 5 or 6 years, seemingly
unbelievable.
Last decade for sure, of new blood. And it's a nice balance, I think, with some of the old guard, like Bill Ball, who was on the show tonight, Brian O'Reilly of Pinkerton, et cetera. So,
how many of these kids are going to the NFL? Well, how many are going to play Division I college? A fraction. What matters is what these kids that are playing now are going to look back in the sense of community and the commitment and the fundamental character issues that character capabilities that they were trained when they were young. And they're going to look back as they're the best times of their lives. You can't ask for more than that. And when you look at and see and talk to these coaches, it's so apparent.
So, all right. Want to thank our guests for joining us tonight: Tom King, Kevin Fitzgerald, Bill Ball, Robin Boquet, Chris Sanborn. Appreciate them carving out a little bit of time for us tonight. We'll be back next Thursday, of course, with another edition of FNL Gridiron every Thursday, 6 Eastern. Tomorrow night, looking forward to being in Plastow for Timberlane and Exeter at 6:30.
Another breakout game.
For our director, the man behind the curtain, great job as always, Ben Beals, doing another smash-up job with that intro, working with Craig and Cardoni, John Barron, and Matt Beals this week to get you that footage. We appreciate it. Kristen Beals will be back in the fold tomorrow night behind the lens along with Craig and John. For my partner, executive producer Steve Beals, my name is Nick Anastas saying so long. This has been FNL Gridiron presented by Beals Insurance.